My name is Sarah Stefanich, and I am a program consultant with Colette World Languages. And today I'm very excited to talk with you about Proyectos. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Today, as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about Proyectos, which is a program designed for North American college and university students. So you might be thinking, well, why Proyectos? Let me tell you. Proyectos is an inclusive, innovative program. It follows a communicative approach to project-based learning, and the projects that these students engage in are inspired by and designed to emulate those real-world scenarios. Proyectos includes many authentic resources and engaging content that helps to build students' curiosity and awareness of the Spanish-speaking world, so that when they leave your classroom, they are global citizens ready to tackle the 21st century problems of our multilingual and multicultural society. And last but not least, it is aligned with ACTFL's World Readiness Standards. Proyectos is available in two different forms. On the left, you can see that we offer Proyectos as a one-volume, 20-chapter book that takes you from the novice low to the advanced mid-level of proficiency. And on the right, you can see that we also offer Proyectos as a split edition, so two books with 10 chapters each, Proyectos 1 and Proyectos 2. Again, that takes you from that novice low to the advanced mid-level of proficiency. So what comes with Proyectos? Well, here you can see our components. First, we have that student edition, which I just showed you on the previous slide. It can come in as one book with 20 chapters or two books with 10 chapters each. And the student book is available both in print and digital formats. We have a workbook that is available digitally on our online platform, which we call the Spanish Hub. And we also offer a teacher's edition of the text, both in print and digital format. So let's go ahead and take a look, open up the book, and see what we have inside of Proyectos. And I would like to start with the scope and sequence. You can find the scope and sequence at the beginning pages of the book, both print and digitally. The scope and sequence breaks down Proyectos by chapter. So you can see here the 20 different chapters of Proyectos. And then it also breaks down Proyectos by the different elements that are available within each individual chapter. And so reading from left to right, we have the learning outcomes, the language structures, the vocab, the oral and written texts, the sounds, so the pronunciation, the projects, and the culture. Now I'm going to go ahead and walk you through a sample chapter. And I'd like to take a look at chapter 4, which is called Lugares, or places. Here we have a picture of the first page of chapter 4. And this page is really nice because it has the same information that is available in the scope and sequence chart at the beginning of the book. So we can see those learning outcomes, the vocab, language structures, etc., etc. And this information really helps both the professor and the students know what the goals are of that chapter and what they will be working towards throughout the chapter. Each chapter begins with a section titled Para Empezar, and the Para Empezar section contains a series of images and very short texts related to the chapter themes and topics. And the idea here is to sort of inspire students, get them started to think about these themes and these topics, and to introduce them to some vocab. You can see from the activities that are included in the Para Empezar section of chapter 4 here that minimal output is really required from the students at this phase. It's designed to be kind of an input, let's get started. Within the Para Empezar section of each chapter, there is a short video. In chapter 4, this video is called El Mueble de las Fotos. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at it.
El mueble de las fotos del salón es el escaparate de mi familia. Estamos todos. Mi padre, mi madre, mis hermanas, abuelos, primos, tíos, cuñados, amigos y yo. Yo con 1, con 3, con 5, con 9, con 13, 17, 23, 27, 30 y 32 años. Sonriendo para las visitas. En el estante inferior derecha, sección niños y mascotas. En la izquierda, fotos viejas de familiares muertos, que en realidad nadie.
So as you can see, the video introduces and reinforces vocab. Chapter 4, we're working with some family terms here. And also, it provides socioculturally meaningful content. We have previewing and post-viewing activities included, as well as the transcripts for the video and the closed caption subtitles. After the Para Empezar section, we enter Documentos para Descubrir. And as you might infer from the title, this section offers text-based activities that serve as input for the students while simultaneously working to build their interpretive reading skills. On the left-hand side, you can see a section that is called Prepárate, and this is a great section to be assigned for homework or a warm-up activity before students read the text. Then we also have activities for students to do after they read the text, and some of these activities are designed to be done individually. And then as you can see here in activity 16, other activities are designed to be done in pairs or in small groups to kind of inspire conversation about what they have just read. An interesting feature that I want to point out that is available in the Documentos para Descubrir section, you can see here on the right-hand side, which are the textos mapeados y textos locutados. The textos locutados are oral readings of the text that are spoken by different Spanish speakers from different countries all over the Spanish-speaking world. And so this can expose students to the different varieties of Spanish that are out there. The textos mapeados is another written form of the text that highlights 3 different linguistic features for the students. You can see here the connectors, frequently combined words, and then also verb combinations. After Documentos para Descubrir, our next section is Entender cómo funciona la lengua. Here we have activities designed to help students practice their focus on form, practice that accuracy for the different types of language structures. We can see that examples and models are always provided for the students, and these examples and models draw their attention to those different forms with the use of bold text and also our blue highlighting, which provides meaningful lexical bundles to help them put into practice these different language structures that they are working on. Our next section is Culturas. And this section highlights what we like to call the 3 Ps: cultural products, practices, and perspectives. It employs a multiliteracies approach, so it exposes students to authentic cultural texts and provides activities to foster those important 21st century skills such as critical thinking and cultural understanding. You can see here from the example that a lot of these activities revolve around getting students to think critically about their own cultural representation, compare that to different cultural representations of the Spanish-speaking world, and compare and see what's similar and what's different, and why that might be so. The next section is Conocer los Textos, and this is a very unique section that is available in the Proyectos program. So the Conocer los Textos section of each chapter focuses on building students' academic skills and knowledge of different types of written text. So we can see here in chapter 4, we're talking about descriptive texts. And so obviously if we're going to describe something, we need to know, what does that mean? How do we do that? And this section offers some different examples, some instructions, some practice. And these practice activities provide scaffolding for the final projects that students will engage in. Which brings me to our last section called Proyectos, and so you can see where the name of the program comes from. So each chapter contains 2 final projects for the students, a group project and an individual project. And these projects are the culmination of all of the work that the students have done in this chapter. Each project involves several different steps, or it's broken down into steps for both the student and the professor. You can see an example here, and there's also more information provided in the annotated instructor's edition for the professor. At the end of each chapter, there are a few pages dedicated to recursos lingüísticos. So we can see here grammar, vocab, then grammar and vocab used in context, which is titled communication, and then also frequent word combinations to help students build their language structures. Now that we've seen the inside of a chapter, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about our online platform, which we call the Spanish Hub. So what is available on the Spanish Hub? We have an enriched e-text version of both the student textbook and also the instructor's textbook, and then also an interactive version of both the student textbook and the instructor's textbook. And so on the Spanish Hub, you will find everything that you need to put into practice Proyectos in your classroom, from the videos, the audio recordings, tutorials, and the assessment program, and much, much more. I do want to highlight 3 key features of our online platform, the Spanish Hub. The first is the interactive textbook. And so this is really nice because students can write directly in the textbook online, record themselves, attach files, correct themselves, redo the activities, submit those activities to the instructor, and more. The second feature is the fact that the textbook is customizable. So this is great for the instructor. They can personalize the activities, assign the homework, correct their work, track their progress, create their own content, and much, much more. The last feature that I would like to highlight is the textbook itself and the fact that it is assignable. So you can assign different sections, those ones that I just went over, like para empezar, for instance, to be done as homework by the students on the IMLAN platform that gets put into the gradebook for the teacher. And so these features are great to help you with different types of formats of your classes, whether you're teaching in person, hybrid, or online. I'm going to finish my brief overview of Proyectos here with some information about the assessment program that is offered on our online platform, the Spanish Hub. So on the Spanish Hub, you can find a 50-question multiple choice quiz for each chapter. Here we can see that the quiz covers vocab, grammar, and culture. We also have a test provided for each chapter that is modeled after the IPA assessments. And you can see here that each test contains a variety of different types and styles of activities. So we have interpretive communication, both listening and reading, language use, and presentational communication in writing. Some of the tests also do feature a presentational communication speaking component as well. So all in all, Proyectos is an excellent program that is student-centered. It focuses on those 21st century skills like communication, critical thinking, cultural competencies, and the resources and features that are available on the Spanish Hub make this a very adaptable program for both the students and the instructors' needs. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for listening and for viewing. Muchísimas gracias. Again, my name is Sarah Stefanich, and I'm a program consultant with CLET World Languages. Please feel free to contact me with any questions or if you would like more information about the Proyectos program. And lastly, just a little shout out here. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can see we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc., etc. So follow us on social media for access and information about new resources, giveaways, professional development opportunities, and much more. Thank you very much.